Hey there, this is G from Outlier Automation. Today I'm going to show you how to set up the image on a Siemens IoT2050, which I have right here. In my previous video, I actually updated the firmware on this device. It currently has an example image that is available from Siemens on the version 1.11, and I want to go to the example image 122, which these devices, this one is an IoT2050 Basic. So the IoT2050 Basic does not have an internal memory. It uses a micro SD card, which is on the top of the device here. I am using a SanDisk Extreme, mostly because it is supposed to be faster, and since everything on the device is running essentially off of this, you want to try to have as high of access and readability as possible. And I'm going to take this and put it in my computer right now in order to load a new image onto it. So I'm just going to basically format it and then take my image that I got from Siemens and put it on there. And then I will show you how to set it up. Okay, so let me go over to my desktop. I'm actually, while I am getting this in my SD reader, you can see that that is the downloads from industry support from Siemens. This has the potential images. For the basic, there's only certain ones you can use. And on my last video, I actually updated the firmware so that I could use the newest example image, which is the 1.2.2. So I already downloaded that image. It is here. And let me go ahead and extract that. All right, so this is a .image file. If you're familiar with Raspberry Pi and you have the Raspberry Pi imager, you can go ahead and use that in order to transfer your image to your SD card. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Choose OS, use Custom, and go to my desktop where I had it, and then my example image 122, image, open. Okay, choose storage. Okay, here's my SD card. And I'm going to go ahead and write. There's already data on here. I'm blowing away that image, and I'll say yes. Okay, so it is complete. I will pop that out. All right, so I got my SD card, and I'm going to go back over to my device here. I put it in the right way. Okay, and I'm going to power it up now. Okay, so I have this powered on. I can see blinking lights, and there's also a stat LED, which is blinking. And I'm going to connect this to the P1 port for my Ethernet in order to SSH to it and connect to the Linux operating system. It's Debian. Please be aware that between different images, the ports of which ones was default for the static IP address was different between two. So if you can't connect, try the other port. Okay, so I'm going to go to my desktop now, and I'm going to open my SSH tool, which is MOBA Xterm. Basically just like PuTTY, but with some extra features. Okay, and I already had my SSH session to this default static IP address of 192.168.200.1. I've connected to another device, so it's just pinging me to say hey, this is a different device than before. Okay, and the default username is root, and the default password for the image when it's clean is just root as well. And it will ask you to change your password by putting in root again, and then your new password for the device. All right, so this is a Debian image that Siemens created for the IoT2050. If you wanted to and were familiar with embedded electronic development, you could create your own image or modify this. The source files are on GitHub, but the example image actually has a little application in it in order to set up the host name and the peripherals, which I won't go into in this video, but I'll go into the next one. But just to show you where that is, you can go to IoT2050 setup. All right, and this is our application, and there's some default stuff to set up here, which I'll check out in the next video. So thanks for watching. Get your IoT2050 set up and start playing. All right, talk to you soon.